What's going on, YouTube? How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing great. I missed you guys. Hey, listen, guys, I got another video for you here, and let me just tell you that I am thoroughly impressed with what I'm seeing before my eyes. I'm gonna just run a quick video and a little bit of an eye test for you guys because I really want you to guess which one is which. So what I'm doing right now, guys, is I want you to tell me and you guys let me know what TV is a QD OLED and then what TV is a mini LED. And I'm going to use Ratchet and Clank, which is a very colorful TV, as an example. So I'm just going to kind of just walk around. I'm going to try to play a little bit, try to see if you guys can tell me what TV you think is which. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of be quiet for a little bit and just kind of play, and you guys tell me what you think. All right, so just enjoy and let me know. Please, guys, give me your honest opinions on this one, and when you do tell me what TV that you think is what, or what you thought it was, in the comments, please let me know why you thought it was. I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of walk around. All right, guys, so that's about enough for that. Now, if you guys told me or thought that the TV on the right was the QD OLED TV, you are actually incorrect. The QD OLED TV is actually on the left. On the left, I have the 65-inch Sony A95k, and on the right, I have the Hisense 65-inch U8k. And as you guys, if you're surprised, I was also surprised as well, because you really can't even tell the difference right now, can you? I mean, if you can, then kudos to you, because I can't. Now, the reason why I wanted to do this video is because a lot of us, including myself, do get tricked when it comes to these TVs. A lot of times you'll just automatically think, because the picture quality is so fantastic, that it's automatically an OLED TV. And I'm here to tell you guys that nowadays that is not the case anymore. Mini LED has stepped up to the point right now where they are extremely competitive with OLED TVs. And the reason why I think that it makes a great option is because if you guys look right now, I mean, look at how phenomenal the TV looks. And they are at a lower price point. So we're getting to the point in time where these brands like Hisense are delivering this type of picture quality at a lower price point that, you know, otherwise you would think you would have to spend double or more money for on, let's say, a Sony A95L, an A95K, you know, a G3, an LG G3, a Samsung S95C or B. And don't get me wrong, it does have its shortcomings versus those TVs. But when you look at it, guys, I mean, just if you just kind of like absorb the way the picture quality is for a second, I mean, they look thoroughly identical, like neck and neck. You know, you really wouldn't be able to tell a difference, you know, just by at first glance. I mean, look at the black levels and this dark scenes right here, how equal they are. Um, look at the specular highlights. Look at that dynamic range kicking in. I mean, look at that. Look at the tone mapping. You know, it's just something that just kind of just, pleasantly surprises you in such a great way. So, you know, I'm happy with the TV. I love it. Um, it is something that I would strongly recommend to anyone that is looking for a TV and that wants really good quality at a great price. The U8k delivers it in every aspect. And I'm not just talking about picture quality, I'm also talking about uh, settings menus, all the different picture presets that it delivers. It has Dolby Vision, IMAX enhanced. It has HDR game. It has a dedicated game menu. Um, it has uh, two ports um, at 120 hertz. One port I believe can do 144 hertz. Um, Audio wise, guys, this TV, you would think that, yeah, on that level of sound, you would have to really pay for. Like the A95k, for example, perfect example, being that these two TVs are next to each other. We all know that the sound is great. And you should know that the sound is great because you pay so much for that TV. Let me just tell you guys, and I will do a sound side by side sound test for you. That the the Hisense's sound quality is phenomenal, and I don't normally say that. Like, I have the LG G3, which is still my favorite TV, and I hate the sound. It sounds tinny. It sounds weak. It sounds like they purposely did that so you spend the extra money to get a sound bar, and I don't like that about a lot of brands. The same thing with the S95C. Uh, that I also have that TV. I think the sound is terrible. It is not good at all. It is very, very cheap sounding. For you to spend that much money and be that upset, you got to really deliver the whole package. You have to have good sound quality. You will lose your customers if you if you spend that much money. You got to understand that as a consumer, when you spend that much money on things, you notice things that it's missing that should be there. You know what I mean? And especially when brands like Hisense are coming out with amazing audio quality, um, which is pretty much compatible with almost every codecs. You have for sound quality. You have control over the subwoofer independently in the Hisense, which is phenomenal. You have connectivity that syncs if you get the proper Hisense, and you can still use the TV speakers at the same time. I mean, these are high level specs that you can get out of the U8K. Now, granted, it's an 8-bit panel, but as you guys can see sometimes, and I've heard other reviewers say the same thing, that they actually like the color better out of the U8K than other brands, especially when it's stacked up next to the TCL QM8. Although the QM8 can get brighter, the color, especially in gaming, I've seen a lot of people say looks better on the U8K. And being that I'm a gamer, I chose the U8K. And I am extremely happy with this picture right here. So, with that being said, don't get me wrong, guys. There are still some shortcomings. I can say that the motion on the TV definitely sometimes can get a little lackluster on the Hisense. I noticed that, especially as see how I'm kind of panning right now in fast motion and fighting if I fight, like I was playing, for example, Ragnarok on the TV, and I noticed that when I was panning and kind of fighting at the same time, it was struggling to keep up with that much processing and action going on at the same time. I notice it, and I'm a person who's extremely sensitive to that kind of stuff. So I notice things like that, and I know that the TV I'm happiest most with that is definitely the LG G3, and I am very happy also with the motion on the S95C, although it still feel like it's a notch a little bit less than the LG G3, because sometimes I notice skipping and things like that in the picture on the S95C in fast motion as well. But overall, it's still smooth. But again, this TV, you get used to it, especially when the price that you pay, you kind of overlook those things. You don't care as much, and that's my point. Is when you're paying at let's say you're paying $3,500, $4,000, even $5,000 for a TV, and let's just say you're not happy with the sound quality, you're not happy with the motion and things like that. You know, you notice things more when you pay a higher price point that are negative than when you purchase at a lower price point and notice certain things. So, like for example, on the Hisense, although it has the motion processing that might not be as great as the higher end brands, it's still not bad. It still looks good. So you can overlook it because of the price you pay, but you can't overlook it when you pay that much money on a TV that has the same issues, or maybe it's still good but could be better. Just things that you notice more. And again, those top brands can lose their customers because of that when TVs like the Hisense U8k delivers so great. Why pay that much money for a TV like the Sony A95L, which I'm still getting anyways, the the A95K, the G3, but why pay that much money when you know there's still some flaws to it? You really want those TVs to be flawless. And I know there's no such thing as a perfect TV, but I just feel like that's just something that I feel like a lot of brands try to get away with and try to tell you and teach you there's no such thing as a perfect TV, just so they can get away with saving cost on making things better as they should. So the Hisense delivers, guys. And again, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have its shortcomings. I will say also another thing I noticed, and I'm gonna back out and show you guys, is that when you are playing video games in 4K, and I will show you a perfect example in this section right here, the the details and the clarity are definitely up there a little bit better than the U8K on a QD OLED, and obviously an LG G3 or W OLED. So what I'm going to do is kind of just show you a quick sample, and then I'm going to show you an audio sample here, and we're going to talk a little bit about audio after. So right now letting this game load, and we're going to get into this section here, and this is a perfect example of the level of detail. So if you guys look closely, there is definitely more detail in the QD OLED, the Sony. You get more reflection. You get, like on Freya's armor, like if you look at her shoulder, that kind of round gold armor plate on her shoulder right there. As you can see, it has more reflection, it has more color, and that's what the color actually toned down a little bit more. You get more details on her armor, like you can actually see the imperfections more or better on the QD OLED than you can on the U8K. In her hair, you can see that there is more depth to her hair, more detail to her hair. It doesn't look as washed out, things like that. in the QD OLED. And again, that is because that QD OLED technology with the infinite contrast will definitely show you those things. Um, but you know, overall, look at how beautiful both pictures look. You really, it's almost indistinguishable. On, as you can see right here on Kratos, I'm just trying to get a good angle here. Let's do the back of his right shoulder. On the back of his right shoulder, there is more detail on the red. You can see like the slash marks are those like cut marks on his shoulder a lot better. You can see the reflection a lot better on the QD OLED and things like that. But that doesn't go without saying that the Hisense doesn't deliver. It really does deliver. And for the price, guys, honestly, I can see most people choosing a Hisense over a QD OLED because at when these TVs are not stacked against each other, these things you won't even notice. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go ahead and back up to this right here, and I'm going to show you. I like this particular, I use this as an example a lot because of the detail on the door and the color and the sharpness of the color. So the colors are definitely sharper on the QD OLED, and the details are definitely more noticeable on the QD OLED over the Hisense. But guys, when I tell you, like, if I can kind of like gauge the percentage of difference that they are from each other, I mean, I'm really talking about a very incremental percentage. Like, I'm really talking about between like 3 and 5% difference of how close they are in picture quality. Yes, I do notice it because the QD OLED is more clear, has more clarity, and definitely because of that, I feel like it brings more detail out along with that infinite contrast. I just feel like it just does a better job. Obviously, also is a 10-bit panel versus an 8-bit panel, so you got the advantage there. But again, you still do hear a lot of, like, for example, a lot of people stack the U8k mini LED versus a mini LED like the TCL QM8. And even though the QM8 is a 10-bit panel and the U8k is an 8-bit panel, a lot of people will actually side with the U8k as far as color goes, even though it has less color variations or less color capability. So, you know, just because it's an 8-bit panel doesn't mean that you're automatically going to have worse color, because that is not the case. But look at how close they are in color right here. Now we're going to go to like a brighter area. Let's go here. And then after this, I really just kind of want to do an audio sample, and I want to talk specifically about audio. All right, so let's just kind of walk this direction. All right. So again, let's talk details a little bit more. So if you look at the water and the reflections and the little waves in the water, you can tell that there's definitely more detail in the QD OLED. It does have a little bit more color, but guys, I mean, come on now. We're really splitting hairs here, and the price of these two TVs are significantly different from each other. Like, you can now get the Hisense for about $1,000. It's like $998, $999 at Best Buy right now. It's a 65-inch. I don't know how much the 75 and the 55-inch because I only have the 65-inch. But I know that I had to have the TV. I just absolutely had to, because I knew that this TV was going to stack right up pretty much neck and neck with a QD OLED, and it delivers, guys. And I'm not even talking about audio yet. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to row right to this area here. I like this area because it shows a lot of detail. Now, if you look at the eye, I'm going to try to get as close as I can. All right. So again, obviously they're very, very close, but you can see that there is definitely more detail in a QD OLED over the Hisense. But again, if these TVs weren't stacked up against each other, you wouldn't even know the difference. Like, I can notice the water running down from his eye, like over his eye down to the lower part of his eye a lot better than I can on the Hisense. So like it's just more noticeable on a QD OLED. But if you look around, the details are very, very similar, guys. I mean, it's still, even though the details are a little bit more noticeable, like I said, it's honestly like max probably a 5% difference. I'm going to go ahead and kind of turn back around. I'm going to show you guys. Look at the sky. All right, now I'm going to bring us to a different section, like a darker area. And another thing I want to talk about is like the black levels on this TV for the Hisense. I did also notice that when you adjust your black levels, again, it really does depend on the content that you're playing. You want to make sure before you even adjust any black levels on the TV that you're able to adjust the black levels through the video game first, and you want to adjust your HDR settings first through the game before you adjust them through the TV, and you can fine tune them through the TV after. Now, again, if there are no in-game HDR settings or black level settings or anything like that, then you can go ahead and just skip. Don't even worry about it and go right into the TV settings and change it. But I did notice that in order to get darker black levels on the Hisense, as you can see right now, black levels are basically identical. You will definitely notice that you will have to kind of bring them down a little bit more than usual to get darker levels. And you want to turn dark detail off as well. But as you can see, they're extremely identical right here. Look at that. I mean, there's almost no difference. But you can kind of tell when you're panning, the motion is just not as smooth on the Hisense. You know, I mean, but it is something that you can get used to, and trust me, you get used to it fairly easily. Especially like, you know, your first 10, 15 minutes of the game you playing, you really don't even notice it. So, but look at the details, guys. It's just truly amazing. So guys, Mini LED is here to stay. Mini LED is here to compete. You know, I would definitely recommend putting, which is another beautiful thing about the U8k and why I chose it over the QM8, is you can actually control your dimming zones, your dimming zone level in game too. So like if you really want to optimize your contrast as best as you can, you want to really put it on high. So you want to get to your dimming zones within the games or within the settings, and then you want to just put that level on high. So I think it's defaulted to medium out the box. But yeah. All right, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and back out, and I really want to talk about audio. We're going to go ahead and go into YouTube. We're going to pick some royalty-free music that I like to listen to. Right here. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and put up the volume.
What if my coverage isn't
back
right?
out.
What if I accidentally hit a food truck? What if it gets covered in empanadas?
All right.
We're there for your what ifs.
Thanks.
So. Here we go. Do you hear that bass, guys? Alright. And here's the cool part. Alright, let's go to menu. Let's go to sound. Check this out. We're going to go to advanced settings, subwoofer. I have it up too. You can bring that down, you can bring it up. So it gives you control over the bass speaker. It's dead center in the back of the TV. You got your equalizer here, of course. I mean, guys, for the money that you pay, you can't even, a lot of this stuff you can't even get on the premium TV. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and put up the A95k just to compare. Now don't get me wrong, the A95k has a different type of sound and it is bassy. I like that kind of immersion sound that comes out of the speaker. I like it a lot, and it does have a little bit more clarity to it over the Hisense. But if you're somebody who likes more bass, and you know, you can't go wrong. I mean, you got the Hisense is going to win in that perspective. So again, that's my point, is not only does the Hisense deliver in picture quality, it also delivers in sound quality. And that's another thing that is a big deal, especially for a person like me who lives in a space where you have to respect your noise. You can't purchase a sound bar because you don't want to disrupt your neighbors' peace and quiet. This TV, the Hisense, you can get away with not having to buy a soundbar. Although it is designed so if you do get a soundbar and speakers, you can still use the speakers with it, the built-in speakers, to work with your soundbar. It has, like, you know, that syncing technology. I forgot exactly what they call it, but either way, you don't need to. It delivers. It has punch. It has bass. It has great high quality sound, and you can pretty much care less of what about getting a sound bar when you have this TV. So another thing that is aggravating to me is that, like, the LG G3, I have the 77-inch. I have the 77-inch and the Samsung S95C. And those two TVs, sound is just trash. It's horrible. And this goes back to my other point, is you notice these things, and it really puts a bad taste in your mouth when you spend that much money. You know, I don't understand how a TV can be less money and have better sound quality and almost equal picture quality like Hisense can. And the crazy part is, a long time ago, I purchased my first Hisense TV. It was a 1080p smart TV for like $600 at Walmart. And I didn't know anything about the brand or anything. And I started just telling people all about it after I owned it. I was like, man, you have to get the Hisense TV. You have to. That TV is cheaper and it looks better than the Samsung. It looks better than this TV. It looks better than that TV. And, you know, that's what I like about Hisense, is they are not scared. They will go all out, and they're here to compete at a lower price point. And, you know, it's just something that you just love about Hisense. It's just, you know, they have a great menu, you know. They have their menu experience is phenomenal. You can change your game settings, right? I mean, again, I know it's not as tunable as, like, let's say the G3, but you have like your refresh rates, where you can turn up you can obviously brightness, you can turn FreeSync on, and, you know, things like that, your dark details, And don't get me wrong, I get it. I know it's not going to be as tunable as, let's say, the G3. Um, but again, it's there and they have it. Um, you go to your overall menu, right? And then just look at what it provides. Let me just show you guys. I'm pretty sure you've seen this a million times, but look at all the different picture modes it provides. HDR Sport, HDR Theater, Filmmaker mode, IMAX mode. I mean, you really can't go wrong. And then it does have Dolby Vision. Once it receives that Dolby Vision signal, you have energy saving, which nobody uses, standard and vivid. Um, but once it receives that Dolby Vision signal, it goes into Dolby Vision. You know, sound mode. You have obviously different modes here that presets. Your HDR formats. I mean, this is just high level stuff, guys. You can change. You know, it uses the Google OS system, which has gotten to be, you know, one of those things that I've kind of grown to like. I wasn't a fan of it at first. I felt like it was still laggy, but again, you know, it's I feel like they have definitely made some improvements there, where it's less laggy and more user friendly, and just, you know, easier to understand and things like that after a few updates. Um, I mean, look at all the different settings that it has, you know? I mean, what else can you say, guys? Look at the two TVs stacked up to each other. So, sound quality to me is a big thing. I know I don't talk about it a lot in my TVs, obviously, on my reviews or my experiences, because I haven't really been happy with the sound on the S95C and the G3. So I've really been concentrating more on the picture quality with those TVs. But now that I have the Hisense and the A95K back, those two TVs are my favorite TVs when it comes to sound quality, and that's why I wanted to stack them up to and show you at the end. Because think about it, the price point between these two TVs, and some will even say that they like the Hisense better because it just has that bass to it that just kicks. For a 65-inch TV, you can't go wrong, guys. I'm telling you, if I were to have to pick one or the other, and I really wouldn't know what to pick, I mean, you know, knowing me, I would probably go with the higher end TV just because I do want that edge in my personal experience and be able to, you know, customize my settings and things like that more. But you know, if you're not like that, I promise you guys, you will be pleasantly surprised. Most of you will be pleasantly surprised with the way the U8k treats you at home. You can't go wrong, in my personal opinion. It's a great TV, and that's pretty much it. So I'm really happy to be able to own this TV, and I don't know really what else to say besides it's just a great TV, and I'm stoked about it. So if you guys have any questions, I hope this was helpful. Please put them in the comments. If you have any personal opinions about it, please put them in the comments. What do you guys think? Do you like the mini LED, the way it looks better than the QD OLED, or do you still like the QD OLED better than the mini LED TV? Which one do you personally prefer? Just by this video and what you guys have, what your personal preference is. Let me know in the comments, guys. I'm really, really curious as to what you guys think about these two TVs and what your opinions are. Truly, genuinely interested in hearing every single one's opinion. Please drop them in the comments. I really would like to hear them. So thank you, guys.